Welcome to the Local Spotlight Show here at WJBM Studios in Jerseyville, Illinois, the voice of the Tri-Counties. Today I am spotlighting a young lady, 17 years old, senior in high school. We met in the CEO class last year. Nadia Bowker. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you for having me again.
Yes. Was it about this time last year I had you in studio?
It was April of this year.
April of this year.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna knock out some tunes for me today.
I am.
We're gonna do some recording. You did that song Tennessee Orange with you and was it what was your friend's name?
Sophia.
Sophia.
Yes.
Yes, you and Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
Did a good job on that song.
Thank you.
Yes, it was good. But we said, hey, let's do a little spotlight show with you. And Nadia, now you're a senior, you're homeschooled,
Mm-hmm.
but you've been blind since you were 2 years old?
Yes, since before that, but 2 is when we found out.
Okay. So you've grown up. Now, did you go to school or anything?
I went to school for pre-K, kindergarten, and first, and then we started homeschooling my second grade year. Was
this a regular school or was it a school for visually impaired?
It was just a private school here in Godfrey.
I see. So being visually impaired, I mean, that had to be some trials and tribulations for you, but you seem to have adapted. You continue to adapt. Is that right?
I try, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, your hearing is probably acute. You can hear everything.
Yes.
Can you tell me about things that maybe you notice that I wouldn't notice?
I think one thing that I always go back to is bugs, when they are buzzing, they make different sounds.
Oh, really?
And it's something that I thought everyone knew,
Yeah.
but they don't. And I can go off the sound of a bug to try and guess what it is and what might be in my house. And I didn't realize that was something that other people, since they just glance up and see that there's a bug, they don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, I never knew that. I'll have to listen more closely now. But how about animals? Can you sense animals when they're around, like dogs or cats or anything?
Yeah. We have a dog who lives inside, and luckily there's lots of hard floor, and she's very loud on that hard floor. And also she just makes herself known to me. And we have outside cats. We live on my grandparents' farm. And so those cats, they are not as good at that unless there's maybe leaves on the ground. Like them, I can hear them running through the grass. But otherwise, like they are constantly under my feet. If I'm just walking down the sidewalk, they make no noise whatsoever. So they're a different story.
Navigating. I guess you could get a seeing eye dog, huh? Do you ever think about that?
I have thought about that, but I would need training for that I haven't gotten. So right now I just use my white cane. Okay.
And can you feel comfortable navigating through your own home?
I do. That's the most comfortable that I ever am navigating is my house, although I still do have my fair share of mishaps. Do you?
Oh. And your own home. Let's see. So I met your mother, and so your mother, father, and you have a sister?
Yes.
Okay. How old's your sister?
My sister is 14.
I see. And are you buddies with your sister?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Most of the time, though, yes.
Yes. Now you're a senior. Now you're going to graduate. Mm-hmm. What are your plans after you get done with high school?
My plans for after I get done, I am really excited to take my social media full time. I post every day on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube about what it's like to be blind. And then with the CEO program, I also added my very own merch to that as my individual business. And I launched that at the trade show this year. So I'm very excited to just jump right into taking that full time once I graduate.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about your social media platform.
It started out as long form videos on YouTube, but those kind of fizzled out. And then
What's long form videos? Give me an example.
Like if you were to watch an interview with a celebrity or someone, a video that's not just 30 seconds long, just they're more sit down, formal, talk about a certain topic.
Kind of like this show.
Yes.
Okay. But so you don't do that. You started doing that and you said you had to go to something different.
Yes.
So give me an example of what you do now.
What I do now is just I record on my phone and the video lengths vary depending on what I'm talking about. And I just have lots of random ideas. Sometimes I reply to comments and I just record myself. I'm usually just sitting in my room. Sometimes I'll take videos while I'm out places if an idea comes to me and I want to film that. And I just share about my life and my experiences. I share the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's something that I've always strive to do because I feel like so much on social media we see everyone's perfect life, and that's not true for anyone, and especially not for me. And that's something that I have always wanted to show people.
How do you know what you're videoing when you're doing videos?
You
don't, right?
No, I don't. I just hold the camera up in front of my face, and I've looked back sometimes and like zoomed in on the video and thought my face is halfway out of the frame. That's not going to work. So it's really just a lot of trial and error and hope that I'm in the frame.
Okay, so you're videoing yourself basically. Then.
Yes.
Okay. And the good, the bad. Well, what's the good? Tell me some good stuff.
The good would be, when I have a cute interaction. I've had a lot of those with little kids because they're so curious and they also don't understand that I can't see. And it's always like but why? But why can't you see? And those are always cute. Another good thing would be when I got to launch my own individual business with CEO and the opportunities that has brought me.
Yeah. Now how about the bad? What's some bad as far as that goes?
I have this little series where I share blind girl moments is what I call them.
Yeah.
And those, most of the time they are thankfully funny, but we talked about Sophia. I'm with her constantly. I was in her car and I picked up a water bottle and was just fidgeting with it, and it didn't have the cap on and I didn't realize it. So I tipped it and I spilled water all over her car. So I think in the moment that was bad because we were wet and everything was wet. And, but that ended up being funny then because it was like, why do you not have the cap on? What are you doing?
Well, we might as well ask you the next one. Okay. Ugly. What's an ugly thing that you've done on video?
I share some hard moments where I get very emotional.
Yeah.
It happens quite often. But I talk about things that are hard topics, and I've definitely started tearing up and thought like, okay, I have to pause this video. Like I'm not going to cry on here, but it has happened before, I'm sure.
Is there something you could share with us as far as like some really positive things? I mean, I know you have. I mean, being visually impaired, it's very tough. But what are some good things that have happened from you being visually impaired?
I think some good things that have happened are I love to educate people. And before my diagnosis, my family, I don't know how much they knew about blindness, but I know it wasn't something that was close to our family. And so I think just watching my younger cousins grow and realize like, there's something different about Nadia, but like, what is it? They sometimes still don't get it, but just being able, like, them learning that humor is a very big part of my life and making blind jokes and them making those jokes with me, it always makes it so much better whenever it's not just me having a positive outlook, but it's other people who are also having a positive outlook because of how I have lived my life.
Are you a religious person?
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Tell me about your relationship.
I don't know how I would make it through without God by my side. There were times when I wondered, like why was I created this way? What could he possibly have in store for me? Because this is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably, it's been over 5 years, but I think when I was around maybe 11 or 12, that's when it really started to hit me that, like I'm different and I don't know how to be like other people, but he helped me realize I don't have to be like other people. It's special. And he had plans in store for me that I had no idea that I would be doing this. And I'm very grateful that I just hung on and that he brought me through and showed me that everything would be okay.
If you're just joining me, I have Nadia Bowker with me. She's 17 years old. She's a senior, and she's blind, and she's been coping with it since she was a mere baby, and surviving, and doing well, and succeeding.
Yes.
And finding what are some real joys in your life as a young 17-year-old who happens to be blind? What do you find that's really joyful for you?
This is very random, but last week, my grandma, every single year, she takes us, my sister and me and all of my cousins, to pick out Christmas ornaments. And there are so many to choose from. And as I've lost more vision and not been able to see the ornaments like I used to, I have found that since we are in the holiday season, I've found that ornaments that play music or light up or do something that isn't just, hanging on the tree and looking pretty, I found that they bring me a lot of joy. And like I said, it's random, but I feel like I love finding the things in life that I can enjoy without my vision.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself being a very good listener?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I would think so.
Yeah.
Like being a conversationalist, being able to listen. Can you tell when I would just think that you could tell how somebody was feeling just by their voice. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of that?
I was just yesterday telling one of my friends, I said hey, are you okay? Because you seemed off. And she's like, I'm fine. And I was thinking okay, well, maybe you sounded off. You didn't sound like yourself. I'm sorry. I was just making sure that everything's okay. So maybe I listen and read into things too much sometimes.
Well, maybe there was something wrong. How do people treat you? I know, for example, you were in the CEO class and you're around a bunch of new people, but just in general, maybe that example, or just out in public, do you ever find the way you're treated? Are you treated good? Are you not treated good? What do you think?
It's a very, very equal mix of both. If we're going off of the CEO program, I don't know how they felt at first, but I know that I was very nervous just because these are a bunch of kids who are my age or around my age, and I didn't know most of them, and I figured that they probably hadn't been around a blind person, and I was going to be with them every single day for an entire school year, and I just didn't know how it would go, but they treated me so kindly, and it got to be, as we progressed through the year, where I could trust them I walk everywhere in a public space that I am not used to, at a store or on our business visits that we would go on. I have to have someone guiding me because it's an unfamiliar environment. And I got to where I could trust someone who wasn't one of my close friends who was in that group to guide me. And it was just very, very freeing to know that I had several people there that I could trust. But then on the other hand, people who don't know me as well, I've had plenty of awkward interactions with people, and people just don't know how to interact with a blind person.
Can you give some suggestions to those people that don't know how to act? Can you tell them, this is what you need to do?
I would say something that I have heard a lot is when someone finds out I'm blind, like, for example, if I'm just having a conversation with them and then they talk to me, but they don't, or I'm in a conversation with someone else, like I'm with my mom, for example, and she's talking to someone, and then the person she's talking to says something to me, but they don't say my name, and I don't know that they're talking to me, then that's always like oh, sorry, she's blind, because I don't know what they're talking to me, so I can't say, sorry, I'm blind. It's always the person I'm with, like, she's blind, and then I've had people say, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, it's not your fault. You
Right.
don't need to apologize. Just, I would say if you were talking to me or any other blind person, we love it when people say, like, Chris, if I walked in here and I didn't know that you were sitting there or I had never met you, you could say, hey, Nadia, it's Chris. And so I would know who I'm talking to. I would know that you are talking to me.
Oh, yeah, because we just take that for granted.
Yes. If someone walks in the room, you can just say, hey, how's it going? And that person is like, oh, they're looking at me. They're making eye contact. They're talking to me. And I can't do that. So that is something that is always so helpful. And I have a handful of people who, even though I might know their voice, I might recognize it, they without fail always will tell me who they are and say my name when they're talking to me.
Well, I'm glad you said that, so I'll know better next time. I can say, hey, Nadia, it's Chris over here. So how about, how often do you find yourself, though, by yourself? Do you usually have somebody with you helping you guide? I mean, if you're out in other than your home, do you find yourself alone at all? Can you manage?
It depends on the place. My family, their houses, I can, for the most part, navigate by myself. It just, they aren't used to having someone who's blind in their house. And I feel like we, at my house, will make sure that, like, we try to push chairs in, and, like, obviously accidents still happen, so things still get, like, left on the floor and I still trip over things. But when it's at other people's houses, it's harder. But I've really just gotten used to that. But as for out in public, since I can't drive, that usually means that the person I'm with will take me and then also be with me the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That's probably a plus, but also a minus, maybe.
Yes, it's can be very frustrating sometimes not just being able to hop in the car and drive myself.
But I heard that you did drive once. Is that true?
I did drive once. You're correct.
Tell me about that experience.
So it's almost like a rite of passage for someone when they're blind, either like on their 16th birthday, if you've been blind for like your childhood, like I was, or once you go blind, it's kind of like you have to do it. And so you get in a car and you drive in an empty parking lot. And obviously there's people in the car with you, directing you. And I didn't even know how like a car worked. I didn't know anything. And so
But you could feel it moving?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a very scary feeling because I couldn't see where I was going. And I felt like I'm going to crash into something at any point. But on my 16th birthday, I got in a car and I drove in an empty parking lot. And I was nervous at first, but it ended up, there was a lot of fun that came from that.
Yeah. And you just did it once?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to do it again?
I do want to do it again. And actually, I've been told, like, you need to get on, like, a boat and drive on, like, a lake or something. So apparently there are other people who want me to drive more vehicles.
All right. Yeah, you hear that, listener? She's looking to drive something. You know, it'd be fun if you could get on a piece of equipment.
Oh.
Like a skid loader or get a track hoe or something.
Oh, I have driven something. I don't remember what it was, but I with my grandpa one time, I drove some sort of equipment. I forgot about that until just now.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think I was good at it,
but your mom was telling me that you have a super memory.
I do.
Like a photographic memory. You remember everything.
Yes.
Can you give me some examples of that?
Well, we talk a lot about dates, and so I remember weird things, and I can't even tell you how, but an example my mom actually gave when we were talking about this is when I was really young and it was the first time she ever noticed it, she said something about Christmas and I said, oh yeah, Christmas was on a Tuesday that year. And she thought like, what is she talking about? And she scrolled back in her calendar and yes, it was on a Tuesday that year. Don't know how I knew that.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's always been incorporated into my mind. And so I don't think anything of it. But I can remember random like historical dates. If I get on a kick with a certain topic, I'll remember random facts about that. And it's always just been something that's been part of me.
Okay, so my next question is, do you learn mostly by Braille or by listening to, whatever, how do you learn the most?
I know how to read Braille. It's not my favorite thing in the world.
Okay.
So if I ever want to learn something, I'll look it up. Or when I was younger, I read a lot of historical fiction books, and just with those stories, then wanting to know more, and just kind of I've learned to just teach myself and different things that I can look up or watch YouTube videos on.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself, you can always go to audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like on the internet,
yeah,
and hear the audio versus reading it. Is that what you do a lot of?
Yes. If it's like a long paragraph, sometimes there's a feature on, I don't know what it's called on like Android phones, but on Apple, it's called VoiceOver. And so I don't use that all the time, but I'll turn it on if there's a giant paragraph and I don't feel like reading it and zooming in my screen. But if I can, I'll just look up videos and watch other people talk about it and then absorb the information that way.
I see. Are you pretty good on a computer?
I am not good on a computer. I use my iPad. I have a Bluetooth keyboard that goes to that, but computers, I've never even really remotely had the desire to learn how to use one.
Can you tell when you hear someone's voice? Can you tell like? Well, I'm sure you could tell whether they're a man or a woman, but
yes.
Can you tell you can tell whether they're young or old, maybe? Or can you guess an age by a voice?
It depends, because, I have...
Like, how old do you think I am?
Chris? I don't know.
Oh, well, come on. Give me a guess.
No. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Oh, you wouldn't say the wrong thing. I hope you wouldn't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, but can you tell ages?
It depends on the voice, honestly, because I've heard people talk who just sound, very sophisticated for their age, and I've thought, oh, they must be this old, and they are only like, they might not even be 20 yet. It really honestly depends on the person, and I used to think I was really good at that, but now it's more like it's hit or miss.
How about by handshake? Can you tell? Do you shake my hands much?
That is actually something that we talked about in the CEO program, and obviously not everyone knows this trick, but Liz Dugan, the facilitator, and we learned that the second day, like how to do a good handshake. And I was thinking, how am I going to know if people want to shake my hand? Because I can't see if they're holding their hand out.
Right.
I can't. It's not going to be good. And she's like, well, what if we touch your elbow? And then that we want to shake your hand. So that works with like me and when I shake her hand. And I also did that with my mentor for the program. But obviously not every speaker or every person that I'm going
knows
to.
That.
Yeah. And it's nice when people do know that. But it's also something that I know I'm still going to struggle with in the real world, because I'm not going to be able to say, if you want to shake my hand, touch my elbow, and then I'll shake it.
Well, Nadia, it's been very nice having you in studio to talk a little bit. And now we're going to break from the Spotlight video, our Spotlight show, and we're going to record some songs. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you, that's for sure. And we'll stop right here. Thank you.